Maqasid Syariah is the objective of Islamic law. Maqasid Syariah seek for reason and wisdom behind the endorsement of each of the ruling of Syariah and the secret that underlying those rulings with the aim to protect the interests of mankind. The objective of Maqasid Syariah, according to Al-Ghazali, the higher objective of Islamic law consists of two types. First, religious or spiritual, dini objective pertaining to the hereafter. For example, preservation and promotion of religious faith. Second, worldly objective, duniawi, pertaining to mandate a fate of this world, including preservation and promotion of human life, al-naf, intellect, al-akal, progeny and offspring, al-nas, and property, al-mal. There are 5 benefits of Maqasid Syariah. First, corroborate or validate resolution and ruling related to Islamic finance. Second, sources of reference for Syariah adversary in issuing fatwa and resolution. Third, sources of reference for the regulator and policy maker like Bank Negara and Security Commission. Fourth, sources of reference for AUFI and IFSB. Last but not least, sources of reference for the financial planning sector.
So now, I will explain about classification of Maqasid Syariah. The classification include of Daruriyat, Hajiyat, and Tasniyat. Daruriyat means necessity. The 5 important essentials of human right, which is seek to preserve are protection of religion, safe for human life, mind, progeny, and wealth. Second classification is Hajiyah, which means need or complementary. Complementary interests are defined as benefits which seeks to remove severity and hardship that do not pose a threat to the very survival of normal order. The term refers to interests, the neglect of which will lead to hardship but not to total disruption of the normal order of life. These are less essential for human life compared to daruriyat. These are requirements for human beings to live without facing difficulties. However, the lack of any of these needs is not a matter of life and death, especially on an individual basis. Examples of needs are marriage, communication tools, healthy food, and means of transportation. Islam encourages and regulates these needs. Lastly is tasniyat or embellishments. The embellishment refers to interests whose realization leads to refinement, improvement, and perfection in the customs and conduct of people at all levels of achievement. For instance, the Sharia encourages charity to those in need beyond the level of the obligatory zakat. In customary matters and relations among people, the Sharia encourages gentleness, pleasant speech and manner, and fair dealing. Other examples include permission to use beautiful things, to eat delicious food, to wear fine clothing, and so on. It can be concluded that tasniyah is the perfection of mankind's well-being.
Basically, cut comes from Arabic word which means cutting off. It is called as cut as it cuts certain part of a lender property by giving loan to a borrower. According to Bank Negara Malaysia, it defines cut as contract of lending money by a lender to a borrower where the latter is bound to return an equivalent replacement amount to the lender. Meanwhile, Office Sharia standards state that cut is a transfer of ownership in fungible wealth to a person upon whom it is binding to return wealth similar to it. The cut structure is predominantly used by Islamic financial institutions in the Middle East and Europe. Essentially, the aim is to provide the depositor with guaranteed safekeeping of the amount deposited and at the same time allow banks to utilize it for their banking and business activity. In cut structure, the depositor is deemed as a lender to the bank who acts as the borrower, and the bank guarantees such return even there is a negligence or loss of wealth. Any hibah paid by the bank to the client is solely based on bank discretion. The disclosure on the hibah to the client is based on historical information on the hibah granted and shall not be construed in any way as indicative or prospective rate. element of card consists of contracting parties' subject matter as well as contract form. The contracting parties between lender and borrower who are the natural person that have a legal capacity, while subject matter refer to money. It shall be fungible, derivable and recognized by Shariah. The borrower will own subject matter of card through possession, which make him liable for a similar one at the repayment date. And the contract form can be done through offer and acceptance between contracting parties. It can be expressed orally, in writing, or by any other method recognized by Shariah.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. So today I will explain to you about hibah. As you may know, hibah is a vital instrument in Islamic wealth planning. So what is hibah? Hibah is a voluntary conveyance during the lifetime of a person to another person without consideration or rewards. It refers to a transfer of ownership of an asset from the donor to the donee during the lifetime of the donor. There are four pillars of hibah, which means the donor, the giver of hibah, the donee, the receiver of the hibah, the subject matter, and the siwah, which means ijabs and kabul. There are two types of hibah, which is absolute hibah and conditional hibah. Conditional hibah are separated into two, which is umrah and rukbah. Absolute hibah is the normal hibah, same and literally like the definition of the hibah, but the conditional hibah is a bit different. Okay, let's start with the first conditional hibah, which is umrah. Umrah means transfer of an ownership during the lifetime of donor and donee with a condition that the ownership must be returned back to the donor if the donee die first. If the donor die first, the wealth will be transferred to the donor's descendant. The second one is rukbah. Rukbah is transferred with the condition that the death of one party, the donor or donee, is the mark of the ownership. If the donor die first, then the ownership will fall to the donee, and if the donee die first, the ownership will be returned back to the donor. There are certain issues with this conditional hibah. Many schools of thought, including Imam Shafi'i, argue that umrah and rukbah is valid, but the term is invalid as it is against Rasulullah words about hibah, that hibah is an absolute gift without consideration, condition and rewards. In conclusion, hibah may solve particular circumstances by giving certain portion of our wealth to our heirs who may be different or same religion as us, and particular blocked heirs before they pass away. With this instrument, hibah helps by enhancing the love and special relationship among family, friends, and all humanity around us. Thank you.
In the Arabic language, waqaf means habs, which means to restrain. Apart from that, it also means the dedication of a specified asset by a settler into the administration of a mutawali through a legal instrument such that the income or use of fraq of that asset benefits or is used for a stated purpose. There are various types of waqaf. The first one is waqaf ahli. Once the proceeds are received, what do we do with it? The proceeds of waqaf are designated for the waqaf founder's children and their offspring. However, the beneficiaries cannot sell or dispose of the property subject matter of waqaf. Unlike waqaf ahli, in waqaf khairi, the proceeds of waqaf are earmarked to charity and philanthropy. Examples of beneficiaries include the poor and the needy. It is typically used to finance mosques, shelters, schools, and universities. The pillars of waqaf are al-waqif, al-mawquf, al-mawquf alayh, and sighah. What is al-waqif? Al-waqif means the waqaf giver, while al-waquf means the waqaf property. Al-mawquf alayh means the waqaf recipient, and sighah means offer and acceptance of waqaf. What are the characteristics of waqaf? There are three characteristics of waqaf, which are perpetuity, irrevocability, and inalienability. Perpetuity means it will remain as waqaf forever and cannot be changed, while irrevocability means inability to revoke waqaf once binded. Inalienability means ownership of waqaf cannot be transferred either by waqif or mutawali. There are a few conditions of waqaf which applies on the donor and on the donation. While on the donor, a person must fulfill the following criteria in order to be eligible to make a waqaf donation. He must be an adult by law, be aware of what he or she is doing, and be of a sound mind to do so. While on the donation, wakaf should be devoted for good ends only, means the result of the wakaf cannot harm people. For the donor, it is an ongoing and never-ending blessings even after the donor is no longer alive. It offers support to the community and enables the more wealthy to fulfill their social responsibility. It also fosters trust between the community and the donor. While for the society, it is a sustainable development. The Wakaf endowment is one of the greatest economic practices that Islam offers. It is a long-term investment for the whole community with continuing benefits.